All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to talk about Jim Harbaugh and how he's already changing the culture of the Chargers. So, one of the things that the Chargers used to do a lot is they would play music during practice, and that is not the case now. There's no music. And there seems to be an emphasis on conditioning. The last 10 minutes of practice is focused on conditioning drills such as sled pulls and medicine ball carries. And look, the Chargers, they're coming off of a, whatever you want to call it, an abysmal season. They went 5-12, dealt with a lot of injuries, but also, the wheels kind of fell off for Brandon Staley. And he got fired before the regular season even ended. When they lost to the Raiders on that Thursday night, the Raiders won, 63-21, something like that. Chargers just gave up on him. And the Chargers needed to make a big splash because they have a franchise quarterback that is looking to, get himself back in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's Justin Herbert. And they went out and got Jim Harbaugh, a guy that, wherever he's gone, as you can hear, I think you heard that, jets flying over my house here. There's actually, where I'm at, there's also an air show that's going to be going on this weekend because it's Memorial Day weekend. So if you heard that, that's what that has to do with. But anyways, the Chargers brought in Jim Harbaugh. And wherever he's gone, he has been successful. Won a national championship with Michigan, really turned that program around. And then you go back to, my lifetime with the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers were not very good at one point. And then he turned them around, went to a few NFC championship games. Went to one in 2011, lost to the Giants. They went to the Super Bowl the following year, and then they went to another NFC championship game and lost to Seattle. And he lost the Super Bowl against his brother, who he will be coaching against for the first time in a long time this upcoming season. That'll be late in the year. I think that's a Monday night matchup. And I should know this because I literally just went over all the primetime games earlier this week. But yeah, it is I believe it is a Monday night matchup. But yeah, I mean, wherever he's gone, he has turned franchises or programs, whatever you want to call it, around. And I think he's going to do that with the Chargers. Now, the Chargers look a little bit different because, especially on offense, because, there's no more Austin Eckler, there's no more Keenan Allen, there's no more Mike Williams, Gerald Everett's gone as well. Gerald Everett and Keenan Allen are both on the Bears. Eckler's with the Commanders, Mike Williams is now with the Jets. So it's going to be a new look offense for the Chargers. But one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to run the football a lot. And that only is going to help out Justin Herbert. That's going to take some pressure off of him. Now, they basically brought in the Ravens backfield, J.K.Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And those are two guys that have an injury history, especially J.K.Dobbins, who unfortunately for him just can't seem to stay healthy. But when he does play, he's a productive player. It's just he cannot stay healthy. So they got the Ravens backfield basically. But yeah, running the football is going to be something that they're going to do a lot. And, with Justin Herbert, but you got Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert can sling it. Now, like I said, his top two receivers these last couple of years are no longer there. So you got Quentin Johnston. You got Joshua Palmer. They drafted a couple of receivers. Actually, I think they drafted a few receivers. They drafted Jerry Rice's son. They drafted Ladd McConkey from Georgia. So it's going to be a new look offense. But when it comes to the no nonsense at OTAs, like how I have the segment title labeled here, he really wants there to be no distractions. he wants his team to be ready to go. If they're emphasizing conditioning, he wants his team to be in the best shape possible. Actually, the other thing, too, is let's not forget they also drafted Joe Alt as well, one of the best tackles in the draft, or the best tackle in the draft, to go along with what they already have on the other side with Rashawn Slater. They want to protect their quarterback as well. That's the other thing, too. But no music, emphasis on conditioning. He wants his team to be in good shape. He wants his team to be focused. And, maybe some of this stuff that he's kind of, shutting down for the moment, they kind of have to earn it. Because, again, the Chargers are coming off of a bad year. And some of that maybe could have come from them just not being focused. But I guess maybe when they have a head coach that they don't necessarily believe in, then they're not going to be focused. So, like for me with the Chargers, I'm not expecting them to go out there and have this great year and be one of the best teams in the AFC and, dethrone the Chiefs right off the bat for the division. I don't expect that in year one with Harbaugh. But as he continues to build up this team, the following season and beyond that, this team is going to be a problem. And they have their franchise quarterback. And Justin Herbert should have a playoff win. I mean, the fact that he was a part of that collapse against the Jaguars in the playoffs when they were up 27-0 still blows my mind. Because the Chargers should have held on to that lead and won the game. Now, I do say it blows my mind that happened, but, I mean, how many times now have we seen teams blow huge leads? I mean, go back to the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Falcons. No, nothing will ever top that. For me, nothing will ever top that. Like, how that happened, and it was towards the end of the third quarter, and they were able to mount a comeback, win the game, win the Super Bowl. It's because when that happened, now with the Chargers and the Jaguars came back against the Chargers, I really just had no reaction to it because I'm like, I've seen this before. But the fact that Justin Herbert was playing quarterback and they were not able to hold on to that lead, they should have. And now he has a legit head coach. And I did like Brandon Staley at one point because I liked how he was, gambling and, gambling on, like, fourth downs. Not, like, sports betting. Not sports gambling. But I guess you could say it's sports gambling because, you're coaching a football team. But anyways, because I liked it in the very beginning. It's like, wow, he's really, trusting his quarterback. They're getting these first downs. This is great. But then, when it started not to work and he still continued to do it and he wouldn't take the points, that was kind of his downfall, part of his downfall. And I think you could look at, because I think there was parts of the game against the Jaguars where he went for it and he should have just taken the points, and that kind of played a role in the Jags coming back. Again, I have to go back and look because that game happened, 2 years ago now. So, or going to be 2 years. But, listen, I like this approach by Harbaugh. He wants his team to be focused, be in the best shape. And then when we get to, training camp, preseason, regular season, this team is going to be in the best shape possible. Their minds are going to be right. They're going to be focused, and they're going to be ready to roll. Now, who do the Chargers open up against? I don't know off the top of my head. I want to look. And we'll obviously go through their schedule when we get to it. But we do have a long way to go. So the Chargers, they open up against the Raiders. Okay. And it's a home game. Well, it doesn't really matter. SoFi Stadium is not home field for those two teams, between them and the Rams. But it will be against the Raiders, which I think that game could get them off on the right foot. Actually, their first three games, I could see them starting off 3-0, 2-1. And then they play the Chiefs week 4. And that's a 4:25 p.m. Eastern time game on CBS. So that's a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo vehicle. We'll see. But like I said, I'm not expecting the Chargers to, again, be one of the top teams in the AFC. But I think they can make the playoffs in Harbaugh's first year. And then the following year, that's when you could really see them, be a force here. But you still got the Kansas City Chiefs you got to deal with in that division. So, but let me know what you guys think about Harbaugh, and it's a little too much that he's not letting them play music. I think if they start playing, if they're playing well, they're practicing well, I think that's something that can come back. But I think he just wants everybody to be focused and get them in the right shape for the season. So we're going to take our final break of the show now. When we come back, we'll talk about the Giants once again. We'll talk about Daniel Jones and his confidence for week 1 coming off of the ACL injury. So he's confident that he's going to play. So we will discuss that when we come back from our final break of the show today. So with that being said, stick around and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.